Yo guys, what's going on? It's your boy Blank Online. Today we're going to be talking about the business model regarding Call of Duty. I've done so many videos talking about the way that Activision and the developers handle microtransactions, supply drops, DLC weapons, and that sort of thing. But recently, with the new update, the Days of Summer update for Black Ops 4, and the recent update that was brought into World War II, a lot of stick and a lot of criticism has been given to both Activision and the developers of the game for the way they've handled these latest updates. So if you guys don't know, Days of Summer is like, it's becoming an annual thing where you get a big old summer update, you get summer cosmetics and whatnot, and it usually brings around new DLC weapons. Now, the downsides of both of these events, like the downside of the Days of Summer event in Black Ops 4 and the recent update in World War II, is that all the new weapons that came with those updates were locked behind supply drops only, making it so that players had to spend their real life money to gain in-game currency to then put into the supply drops to get the chance of getting these new DLC weapons. And if you guys don't know how wrong and how littered these supply drops are, think about all of the different cosmetic items you can get in both these two games. Different weapon camos, different character customizations like helmets, clothings, skins and stuff like that, different weapon charms, different emblems, stickers, calling cards, fucking reticles. Just everything under the sun can be customized in Call of Duty nowadays, and every single thing that can be customized has hundreds of different variations in supply drops. So think of those hundreds and multiply that by like 10, so you have a fuck ton of different cosmetic items that you can unlock through supply drops. And if supply drops was simply just cosmetic, then cool, that's fine. But the fact that they released these new weapons and they locked them behind supply drops only, you have like a 1 in 100,000 chance of getting these supply drop weapons. And those are the odds that you're really looking at. You're essentially giving people a gambling machine. You're essentially giving children who are under the age of 18 the opportunity to gamble with their money or their parents' money or anything like that. And that's the real truth behind Activision and the developers of Call of Duty and how their business model is with this game currently. So recently, Sledgehammer then replied back to all the criticism, and this is essentially what they said was the new weapons that are out and are available in supply drops, and they're going to do like collections tied to the events. They're going to do different armory credits and different contracts and all this sort of stuff so that you can actually unlock these weapons in World War II. So in response to this, Sledgehammer is essentially giving players the opportunity to unlock these new weapons outside of supply drops, which is a positive thing that they're moving forward with. The thing that's not happening is Treyarch responding to this, and we've known this past year Treyarch's not too good at responding to community feedback. During the first couple months of Call of Duty Black Ops 4, it was prevalent that they were listening to the community and what the community was saying regarding things like multiplayer fixes, weapon balancing, content, and all this sort of stuff. But in the recent months and leading into the next release of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and as we're going to the end of Black Ops 4's life cycle, it's even more... It can be seen that they're really more focused on Blackout and making Blackout their number one mode, and just kind of putting multiplayer to the side a little bit. Like if you look at the Blackjack shop, all the cool little collections we get, like the Nikolai collection that we recently got, you pay 1,000 COD points and you get stuff for Blackout. Like Nikolai, you can't play as Nikolai in multiplayer. He's a Blackout only character, so why are you offering that in the multiplayer Blackjack shop, if you get what I mean? Like even the Contraband stream in Black Ops 4, most of those unlockables there are for Blackout, like the different trails and parachutes and stuff like that. They're for Blackout, they're not for multiplayer, so why even have them in the multiplayer game mode? Like why not have a separate multiplayer Contraband stream, Blackout Contraband stream, and Zombies Contraband stream? I get that that's sort of like a division in the community, but in a sense it's also saying like, hey, we have this content for this group of players and you can get cool shit for that. And like it's a whole thing. Anyway, like to continue on to this topic, essentially they need to change this business model, and we've seen rumblings with Call of Duty Modern Warfare. We know that we're not going to be getting a season pass, which is dope, which is just a step in the right direction. We know that all the DLC post-launch is going to be free. So both those things, both those pieces of news is a step in the right direction for the franchise. What's not a step in the right direction and is what is actually a step backwards is what they recently did with World War II and Black Ops 4. The fact that Activision implemented this, and the fact that Sledgehammer is the only company that kind of rebelled against this, says a lot with Treyarch, and says a lot in terms of the power that these developers have when, like, over their publishers, or the power the publisher has over the developers. Like, if you don't know, Activision is the person that funds these games, the person that will distribute it and all this sort of stuff, and then the developers are the people that obviously make the game and make it all happen. But without Activision, Call of Duty probably won't be as successful as it is, which is why these developers listen to Activision, and is why these developers are so they're like yes men to Activision, right? Because if Activision's like, look at this shit, we can make money off of this, obviously the developers are gonna be like, okay, we have to listen to these guys because they're the people that fund our games, so let's do it to keep them happy. But it doesn't look good on the consumer, if you get what I mean. Like, this whole business model of, hey, let's bring out all this new stuff. Let's not have this stuff at the start of our game, but later on in a couple months time we'll implement it so that the hype kind of dies down. We get our sales, we get all the initial sales, we get our money, and then we will implement the thing that the consumers didn't want in the first place. It's kind of that. It's that thing. That's what happened with Black Ops 4, happened with World War II. And it's gonna continue. It's hopefully not gonna continue to happen with Call of Duty Modern Warfare. But I don't see a future where we don't have supply drops in a Call of Duty game, unfortunately. But in saying that, there is definite improvements that need to be made. Activision needs to change the way they do this, because if they continue to do it the way they are, constantly gonna get backlash, constantly gonna get hate for it, and then eventually they're just gonna turn the consumers that made this franchise popular. It's not going to be as popular anymore because so many people are going to be turning away from it. So many people are already turning away from Call of Duty. Why alienate the audience that have stuck with this franchise for 10 years like me? Why alienate those people? Why alienate everyone else? Like, by giving people cool shit but locking it behind something that's so wrong and so anti-consumer. If supply drops were a thing where they weren't so polluted with random garbage, then fine, right? Like, if you didn't get duplicates from the supply drops, like, it's still not as great as it would be if you just completely removed all the shit. But if you just simply made it so, like how Apex does it, well, Apex doesn't have duplicates in their Apex packs, you can still get duplicates from the supply drops, which is ridiculous, right? So why not change it? Why not change that model? So in a sense, you're still getting the money from the supply drops, but you're just making it better for the consumer. It's hard to understand, and it's hard to see how this publisher and these developers don't see how to make it work both ways, right? So there's obvious improvements to be made, and there's obvious ways to make it so that the people making the games and the people distributing the games get their money, but the people who's actually playing the games and the people who actually get affected by the game that they spend their own money on, and then will then continue to spend their money on with supply drops and COD points and stuff like that. Why not make a good, fair system for them as well? Why does it have to be a slot machine, right? Why does microtransactions and post-launch DLC and supply drops and all this shit, why does it have to be a slot machine? If I wanted to play a slot machine, I'd go to the fucking casino and pop a 20 in there and play the slots. Why does that? Why does my entertainment, why does my video games have to be like that? And I think that they know that, and I think that the developers know that as well. I think that both Sledgehammer, Infinity Ward, Treyarch, they know what their system is, and they know how to get the most money out of it. So they'll get the initial sales, and then they'll come up with a system to make even more money. Because end of the day, it's a business, right? But with it being a business, you have to keep your consumers happy, because if you don't keep your consumers happy, they're not going to come back. Business is all about retaining business. It's all about getting returning customers, because if you don't have returning customers, getting new customers is even harder than getting returning ones, right? So people like me who are a diehard fan of Call of Duty, I'm always going to come back every year because I love this franchise, because they've made me a returning customer. A new customer, say someone who just jumped into Call of Duty last year with Black Ops 4, what if they don't like these supply drops? What if they don't like the business model? What if they don't like the content that they got from this game? They're not as likely to return as me, who's been with the franchise for 10 years, right? So in that sense, why not make this whole thing better for the consumer while also making it good for you as well? It's something that it doesn't make sense in my head, and I've made as I said at the start of this video, I've made so many videos talking about it, and this recent controversy with the fact that in Black Ops 4 you get a weapon bribe and then you get the Vendetta sniper rifle at the end of the 50 tiers in the contraband stream. But they released 5 new weapons. So there's those other 3 weapons that you didn't get. Like, say you complete the whole thing to 50, you get the sniper rifle and you get the weapon bribe. So you have unlocked 2 out of the 5 new weapons. In order to get those 3 new weapons, you need to pump thousands of dollars into the supply drops just so you can get a chance. That is a 3 in like 100,000 chance of getting those weapons, and that's not even considering the fact that you can get duplicates. You could get 2 of the same thing in concurrent supply drops, which is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it doesn't make sense. It makes absolutely no sense why this system is in place. So it needs to change with Call of Duty Modern Warfare. It absolutely has to. They've taken 2 steps in the right direction, but then with this recent update with World War II and Black Ops 4, they took 3 steps back. So essentially we were right back where we were before. Activision and Infinity Ward need to make this work for both them and the community as well. There's no point making a system that only works for them, because all they're going to get is hate and controversy and outcry from the community that plays their game. But they're not going to listen to that because they're making their money and they don't give a shit. But if they want to be fair, and if they want to keep their consumers coming back, and if they want to make new customers keep coming back for next year's Call of Duty, make a system that works for everyone. Make a business model that works for every single person who plays your game. Not everyone's going to have 50 hours to pump into the contraband stream in order to get 2 new weapons out of the 5. Not everyone has $1,000 that they can put into fake fucking currency to then buy supply drops to have the chance of getting your 5 new fucking guns. It doesn't make sense, and it's unfair for the consumer. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, please leave a like. Leave a comment down below. What do you think of the business model in Call of Duty nowadays? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Where do you see improvements being made? Click subscribe if you're new here, so you don't miss out on my next post about anything relating to Call of Duty, and especially leading up into E3, where we're essentially going to get more details into the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.